Our viewers told us which games they've been playing and why, so we picked out several to share. There's some old favourites, a dash of the newest hotness, and several surprises in this month's People's Choice selection. In Juicy Fruits, each player has a small island paradise where they grow delicious fruits, perhaps a mango, perhaps pomegranates. The limits are your imagination and the tiles that are included in the game. To win, gain the most points by cleverly supplying ships and by adding the best businesses to your island. The game also introduces additional puzzles and a juice factory mode and 4 modes of solo play. So there's lots of content to squeeze out of Juicy Fruits. TGL says that we love the sliding mechanism in this game. There's something very satisfying about working to expand the amount you can slide so you can earn more fruit. I think the first thing that you notice about Juicy Fruit, right, is how big and chunky all the little pieces are. They're like really thick wood. It's very satisfying. And the slide puzzle in it, because when you slide a token, you slide like bananas and you slide it 3 and you get 3 bananas. And then you try to deliver to the ships, which moves the ships out, which gives yourself more space to slide so you can get bigger contracts. It's a fun puzzle. And the juice factory mode is you kind of like, it's a place to use all your extra fruits that you're not using in your contracts to move up a track or move up halfway up the track and then block the track for everyone else. Do that. That's fun. Hey, this episode is made possible in part by the Marvel Comics series of Unmatched titles from Restoration Games, including the newest release Brains and Brawn, which features Spider-Man with all the powers of a spider, She-Hulk with all the powers of a Hulk, and Doctor Strange with all the powers of a trained medical professional. Not only that, but each and every set in the Marvel Comics series is fully compatible with all the other Unmatched sets, so you can mix and match as much as you want. Spider-Man can take on Robin Hood, or Daredevil can tussle with Bigfoot. Doesn't stand a chance. Each edition includes stunning artwork, highly detailed pre-washed miniatures, and unique thematic character abilities. The Marvel Unmatched titles won't be available forever, so follow the link in this video's description for some truly epic throwdowns, showdowns, and of course, shenanigans. Spot is a casual push your luck game from CMYK. On your turn, you'll be rolling and placing dice onto cards sporting spotted dogs. Dice you can't place get buried in your yard, but bury too many dice and you bust. Complete 6 pipped populated pooches and you win. And Rachel P says that I brought this to the table when some friends came over and brought their schnauzer. I don't know what it's a dog. We had a hoot, but the dog became very bothered by us saying treat all the time and receiving nothing. I actually played Spots yesterday with Paula, and I tell you what, it's fun. It's really a good little game. We were both very charmed by the artwork on the cards. The whole thing's got quite a folksy, you know, you go to a craft store by the beach? That's kind of how the game Spots looks like. All the dogs have names, which I think is a lovely touch of detail. You're trying to use these abilities to get the dice onto the dogs, and if you do bust, which you will, you lose all the dice that you place onto your dogs that haven't scored. I'm always on the lookout for these great little dice-based card games. I like Age of War by Rodney, and Spots really has a lovely feel to it, and the gameplay is great. I really enjoyed it. Trailblazers are the gutsy folk who pave and brave the trails of the great outdoors by completing to earn the most points, biking, hiking and kayaking around their campsite. Each round, players draft cards, arrange them in their play area, while players can push their luck by aiming to construct long and elaborate trails. Only closed loops that start and end in a matching campsite will score points. After 4 rounds, the game ends and the player with the most points from closed loops and goal cards wins. Stephen Waffle says that this is by far one of my favourite games to come out this year, with the full game that supports 8 players with a wonderful travel case that supports 4 players. It's a must-have on-the-go game. I can't wait for the Sasquatch expansion. Is there a Sasquatch expansion? If that's something that's real, I would like that. I think a Sasquatch expansion can be integrated into most board games. Trailblazers is this drafting card game where you're drafting cards. Wow. And yeah, you can go really big and never finish the path because you're drafting. People can see what type of trail you're building, right? I feel like it's going to be just a devious experience. Like, do I do this now because I'm never going to get this card's never going to come round? And then you do it and you think, fine, I'll just score a trailer 4. And then of course that card's going to turn up. And you're going to think, if only I'd had the guts for the glory. But here I am with 4 points. In Camel Up off-season, each of the 3 to 5 players have their own caravan of 4 camels that can carry between 3 to 6 goods. Players bid to select goods first from a market, use the power of the market if they want, then take all of the goods there. The camel can hold goods of only one type, and each has a limit of how much it can hold. Exceed that limit and all of the goods stacked on a camel will tumble off and be lost. Stephen F says this is a fun resource collecting and selling game. I would choose to play this over the original. I love the way you have to switch from wanting as many resources as possible to only wanting a few select resources to avoid toppling a camel and losing those items. It's interesting actually because Camel Up Off-Season, of course, is the sequel to Camel Up, and it's very different. It's the off-season, right? During the main season, the camels are racing and you're bidding and all that type of stuff. But here, you're bidding and in these auctions that change. The auction's different each time, slightly. So it's such a different game that it's a thematic sequel without really being a sequel, I feel like. And the cool thing here as well is that if people are bidding, I bid 7 and I bid 7, well, they cancel each other out. So they don't, neither of them get it. So the person who bid 5 get it. And that is a wonderful little devious twist. I saw this and thought, I looked at all the rules and I looked at a video of this and stuff and thought, I would really like to play this game. I think it might be up my street. In Flamecraft, 1 to 5 flame keepers gather items to enhance the shops in their town and then gift those establishments with enchantments and helpful dragon assistance. Doing so will improve the player's reputation, which will then score them more points, and if you're fortunate enough to attract fancy dragons, then you'll have opportunities to secure even more reputation and be the talk of the town during the next Chamber of Commerce meeting, which normally isn't a good thing. Jason W says that my son saw this in the store and wanted to play it because the dragons looked funny, but the game is remarkably accessible and he really picked it up. He even wrote about it in his What I Did This Summer write-up when he started school this month. Do you know what? That makes everything that the people who made this game do worth it, right? Because it's introduced someone into the hobby a bit more, got them even more playing games and enjoying it. And honestly, that's such a wonderful story. The deviousness of Flamecraft is that, I mean, it's obviously a very beautiful game, but there's this level of each shop that you go to, you are improving for the person coming to the shop next. It's like, oh, I improved this shop, here's a few points. The next person goes, thank you for improving this shop because now I got more stuff. So that's kind of like the give and take from Flamecraft, I feel. In Barcelona, a bevy of ambitious builders in 19th century Barcelona all work on the new expansion to the city. Their main goal is to construct buildings to accommodate the citizens who want to leave the old city, and in the process also build streets, create tram lines and build public services. Each round, each player takes a single turn consisting of 2 or more actions, and then at the end of the game, the player, unsurprisingly, with the most points wins. Squishy Link says that some games have you build an engine that you can run once or maybe twice for these epic turns. Barcelona says, why not do that every turn? And it's great. There is so much to think about and every turn feels great. Barcelona is certainly, I think, in some ways a continuation of the type of game we've come to expect from Board and Dice. In Barcelona, you're all building the city together. So thematically, everything's helping everyone else, but you want to make sure that you're helping yourself the most. Also, how is there not already a city game called Barcelona? Also, I got lost in Barcelona once, and it was it's a wonderful place. I think everyone should go to Barcelona. It's absolutely beautiful. All the Gaudi artwork and sculpture and statue and buildings. But yeah, don't get lost. Even though a lot of the streets are, well, play the board game and you'll see. This episode was also made possible by the new Shadows of Brimstone expansion, Gates of Valhalla and Valley of the Serpent Kings. Both are fast-paced cooperative dungeon crawls, with Gates of Valhalla set in the Age of Vikings and Valley of the Serpent Kings takes place in an age of exploration, but both also include a mix of unspeakable ancient horrors as well. With a robust campaign system, your heroes can be kept from game to game, earning experience and gaining new skills and abilities over the course of a multi-session overarching storyline. Heroes can also spend their hard-earned loot between adventures, customizing their camp and resupplying for the next mission. Follow the link in this video description to find both these sets, which are available now online and at local game stores. Then get ready to take up your sword, strap on your armor and gear up for an adventure unlike anything you've experienced before. Champions of Midgard is a middleweight Viking-themed worker placement game with dice rolling, in which players are elders of a Viking clan who have travelled to an embattled Viking harbour town to help defend it against the threat of mythological Norse beasts. By defeating these epic creatures, players gain glory in the favour of the gods, and when the game ends, the player who has earned the most glory earns the title of Jarl and is the Grand Champion of Midgard. Viewer Carman Chan has written a comment which I've discovered rhymes, and frankly I'm not thrilled about it. But in the realm of Midgard, heroes rise to fame. In a board game of strategy, champions by name. They set the sails and they battle with might, conquering monsters, a thrilling sight. Warriors and berserkers with weapons so keen, assembling an army, a formidable team. Rolling dice, taking chances, they dare to explore, seeking glory and victory, they'll settle no more with cunning and wit. They fight and they snarl, to claim the favour of the gods, to be the chosen Jarl. Through quests, and this is so long, through quests and battles, their destinies revealed. In Champions of Midgard, only the boldest are sealed. Thank you, Carman Chan. What a wonderful experience that was for me and you, the viewers. Look, Champions of Midgard thought and said, I want to do a Euro game, but let's give it some of those Amerithrash type of feeling things. A Euro game where we're placing workers out, gaining resources, trying to do all those type of things, but then let's have it that we go and get there to the big monster, you can see it, and roll dice. And then take hits, and then roll dice again. What? This is a Euro. There's no attacking back. That's not how this works. How many points do I earn? Yeah, I think Champions of Midgard just stands as a testament to a pure, fun game. And I think it's the plinth, it's the base of the structure upon which so many other games are built. It's the shoulders of giants, I feel like, Champions of Midgard. I think it's a testament to board games. It remains a fun game. Even if when you roll your dice, you think, I've got this. I got so many dice. I lose. In Longshot the Dice game, players buy horses, place bets, influence race movement and utilise special abilities. The roll of the dice determines which horses move and the options available each turn, so be ready to adapt your plans. Once 3 horses cross the finish line, earnings are totalled. And while there are many ways to earn money during a horse race, only the players that make the most money will be declared the winner. Will you play it safe or risk it big on a long shot? The latter is what I will be doing. I will be doing the second option of the two that have been posed. I will be risking it big and losing. That is my preference. Orangeful says that I play games on my lunch break with a friend and Longshot was our go-to this week. I picked up the expansions at Gen Con, so we added those to the game. We are yelling at our horses to get moving and then booing each other when we used our turn to push the other person's horses back a few spots. Great mix of luck and strategy, and a valuable lesson on why I should not gamble in the real world, since I usually lost the game and ended up with 0 money in my wallet. Longshot the Dice game was hot. It was a hot game for a good while and for great reason. I've had such fun times playing this game. I really love it. I will say that Long Shot the Dice game is more a betting and bidding game and roll and write. Everyone forgets it's a roll and write. It's a roll and write. They should put that in big letters on the front of the box. You've got to do so many different things in such a small amount of time. You want your horse to come in first, and the top horses have easier odds. You can also spend your money, which is, you know, valuable. That is points on a horse. Long Shot the Dice game is wonderful. Those expansions that were mentioned are also different sets of horse cards, so that you have different sets of abilities to be able to purchase throughout the game. It's wonderful. It's a really, really good game. Summer Camp turns deadly in the Happy Trails horror expansion for Final Girl. This feature film box stars Hans the Butcher when an unlikely heroine emerges, but will it be enough to stop the butcher? The core box, when combined with one of the feature film boxes for Final Girl, has everything needed to play the game, and each feature film box features a unique killer and an iconic location. And the more feature films one has, the more killer locations and Final Girl combinations that they can experience. Luke P says that despite being the beginner set for Final Girl, this was the third one that they played and the one that finally defeated them. Final Girl is great, wonderfully thematic, and a game which made me realise, guess I don't care about theme that much, or playing with other people. Do I refer to Hans the Butcher as Pigman? Yes, I do. Am I only aware of Pigman because of a certain Matthew Jude telling me through the medium of a podcast? Yes, I am. I didn't pick this, by the way, this quote, but he does refer to me in a podcast I used to do called Death by Monsters. I do a new one called Remember with Paula. It's a history show. Final Girl, talking about Paula, she has a promo for this, and you can play as Paula. So that's fun, I guess. Why aren't I a promo in any game? Come on, there's a panic phase to the game? What other game has a panic phase? It's just a miraculous kind of solo experience that I really see a lot of people enjoy. I personally am not a solo board gamer because I'm filming videos about board games, but I think a lot of people are really falling in love with this system, which is based on an older system, isn't it? Because it's based on Hostage Negotiator. So there's all of Hostage Negotiator to look into as well. What if the animals were the ones who ran the zoo? Naturally, the most aspirational beasts would lobby for a position in the star exhibit, and the lead star would be elected zoo mascot. That's what would happen. Zoo Vadis is an evolution of Rodney Knitz's classic negotiation game Quo Vadis. It retains the elegant political gameplay that fans have come to love, while several innovations and improvements to its rules and gameplay. Mark Wilson says that, never mind that the dusty Roman senators of the original edition work just as well for me, look at the chunky animal tiles and let them draw you into this fascinating game. This is a tightly plotted negotiation game, a remake of Rodney Knitz's classic from the 90s that has a delightful narrative arc, doesn't drag even at higher player counts, and creates nuanced decision points around the dual goals of getting into the zoo's star exhibit and getting the most money. Neither can be ignored, which shifts incentives even as you try to cooperate with others in an ultimately competitive environment. Sublime. I'm a big fan of Rodney Knitz, which I think has been said a couple times maybe on the channel, and I also am a fan of Quo Vadis. I like dusty Roman old senators. I like Rome, and that it's actually my favourite theme for board games, like ancient Rome or ancient Greece. But there's something quite wonderful about this new edition. The pieces are just ridiculous. The quality of the production is great. The artwork is just absolutely marvellous. And you get these extra things. You've got the special abilities. Each of your animals, your different species, has a special ability, but you don't get to use it. Oh no, it's a bargaining tool, which you can offer to other people. Most often, you're going to have to trade. You're going to have to say, hey, look, Rodney, let me move forward and I'll do that. And then Chaz will give Monique a coin, which means that the trade that you did on the last turn is settled, and Monique will take on that burden. So she'll help you move out of this spot. It's devious, because that one thing that was said that I was going to do, I'm not doing that. While trades that you make on your turn are binding, anything that you'd said maybe that you do later on in the game isn't. It's a great game. I love Zuvardis. And that's a sampling of what our viewers have been playing this month. To join the discussion for next episode, follow the link in this video description to our Patreon to find out how to pick the games featured in the People's Choice. And to see the games on our own personal radars, continue on to this month's On the Radar episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there.